Today myself, Sadie, Kristen, Grant, and Zachary are going to be discussing how Alamo Drafthouse and other cinemas were affected during the COVID-19 pandemic. Throughout the semester, we have researched how Alamo was affected and how consumers feel about returning back to cinemas for entertainment. Because of the pandemic, many cinemas were forced to close down due to not being considered an essential business. Our group has done extensive research to see if guests were willing to come back and what they care most about when returning. Our research questions let us see if customers cared more about the quality of picture and sound, if they went to Alamo Drafthouse for the legendary food and beverage section that is offered during the movie, the comfort of their chairs, or just overall experience. We also wanted to see which demographic would be willing to go to a cinema during the COVID pandemic. We wanted to see if it's the younger age group with college students and growing families, or the older age group, and which gender would be willing to go for entertainment. Our marketing research problems are that Alamo Drafthouse and other cinemas are forced to close entirely and some indefinitely. Cinemas across the country are concerned with attendance and the cost of operations and if they will be significantly impacted upon reopening. They are also concerned that customers will not feel safe going into a cinema during this time, and they want to make sure that all customers know that their cinema will be safe to return. Many customers are concerned with the safety of returning to theaters, and some view the business model as overpriced and not worth the risk of catching COVID, or not worth the price of admissions. With our research questions, we will see what we need to spend more money on, if it is the picture and sound or if it's the food and beverages. Our marketing research opportunities are possibly providing drive-in theaters across the country so customers will always feel safe in the comfort of their own car. During the pandemic, this would be beneficial to Alamo Drafthouse, so they will continue to bring in revenue because of the drive-in theater option. Having a rewards program called Alamo Victory would help customers receive discounted movie tickets and food and beverages. They would have the option of every time getting a ticket, they would scan a barcode and it would give them rewards. After so many rewards, they would get discounts on these certain food and beverages. Alamo would also implement safety guidelines and protocols and make customers feel safe. Their slogan would be "safer than a supermarket," and this would let customers know that with any demographic, their cinema is safe to go to during the pandemic. Alamo Drafthouse would implement all protocols, including face mask, sanitation, disinfectant, and you would be able to pick your seats and have them spread out even to where they are 6 feet apart.
Next is our research questions. 1. What safety measures will Alamo Drafthouse implement amid reopening during the pandemic? 2. What marketing opportunities can Alamo Drafthouse use to gain revenue and traffic? 3. How is Alamo Drafthouse going to continue giving their great customer service upon reopening? 4. How does Alamo Drafthouse plan to protect business during a time of volatile shutdowns?
So the first hypothesis that we came up with was the importance of concession food to customers and the impact on their overall movie experience. And the second one was that if male and females feel differently about the safety of attending a movie at a movie theater during a pandemic. And some reasoning behind these hypotheses. So we picked Alamo Drafthouse as the firm for this project, and for those of y'all who don't know, Alamo Drafthouse is a movie theater that functions and doubles as a full-service restaurant, so the quality of food is very important. We wanted to see how important good food is to moviegoers and if they would pay more money for better quality food. And for the second hypothesis, since we are in the midst of a global pandemic and many theaters got shut down, we wanted to see if our respondents would feel comfortable sitting down in a movie theater once they reopened. Also, too, we have the null and alternative hypothesis. So for the first one, the null is that food is not important to customers at a movie theater. And the alternative to that is that food is important to the customers. And for the second hypothesis, the null is that both genders, male and female, feel equally safe attending a movie at a movie theater. And the alternative is that one gender feels more safe than the other.
These are the demographics for our survey. I've broken them down into a couple categories here: gender, age, and income. 72.1% of respondents were female, 27.9% were male. 100% of respondents were between the ages of 18 and 35. And on an income basis, 94% of the respondents earned less than $25,000 per year. 3% earned between $25,000 and $50,000, and 3% earned between $50,000 and $100,000 per year. And this represents what is currently happening in America with the pandemic and everything. We're seeing that older folks are staying home more often, and that the younger crowd is what's populating these public spaces right now. And then from an income standpoint, we can see that the respondents are typically not working full-time. This suggests that perhaps the population is predominantly student. And so, yeah. Next, we have what consumers value most. So respondents overwhelmingly valued the sound and picture quality as the most important aspect when choosing a cinema. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most important, 62.7% of respondents chose a 4 or a 5 for sound and picture quality. And so this indicates that it is the most valued variable. Next, we're going to be talking about what consumers value least. So according to the respondents, the quality of concessions was the least valuable variable. 47% of respondents indicated that concessions quality was either a 0 through 2 out of 5. And this proves that while Alamo Drafthouse might be more upscale than the traditional cinema, their extensive dining menu might not be enough to bring in the younger demographic. Next up is our data analysis. So we used a t-test and a regression test. We used a t-test because we wanted to determine the difference between the mean and the responses that we got. And we used the regression analysis to predict a pattern with the data that we were given from the respondents. This is our word cloud. So you can see that the majority of people, when asked for a specific service that would make them feel more comfortable in the movie theater, the majority of people wanted to see some type of measure regarding masks or sanitizing efforts or social distancing. One person indicated they would like better popcorn, and another group of people had indicated that they already felt safe currently in a movie theater, just with the measures that movie theaters are doing right now. And if you actually go to Alamo Drafthouse's website, you can see that they have a page dedicated to these standards that they are implementing right now in all their locations. And so they include things such as wearing a mask, washing your hands, employees needing to wash their hands, obviously, and social distancing measures. And then you can see that they have sanitization efforts that are being taken into place. And so this is really good news, not just for Alamo Drafthouse, but also for consumers, because their needs are being met. And so this is really good for Alamo Drafthouse's business model, especially right now during the pandemic.
So here is our t-test analysis. And we chose to conduct a t-test to see the average rating of the importance of food quality to customers at a movie theater. And here are the results on Excel. So we asked how important the quality of concession stand food is at a movie theater and if it impacts the overall customer experience. And from the t-test analysis, we can conclude that the quality of food at a movie theater is not that important to customers. The mean on the t-test was 2.6, which means that out of 52 respondents, the majority ranked the importance of food quality a 2, with the highest importance being a 5. The T-score was 4.29, which is pretty high. This means that there is a big difference between the two sample sets. And although the respondents on our survey said that the quality of food has no impact on their experience, according to the t-test, the majority of them actually would pay more money to have higher quality food at the concession stands, even though it is not that important. Here are the results from our regression analysis on Excel, and I'm going to go more in depth on the next slide. So we conducted a regression analysis to see if the demographic variable of gender, like male and female, has a difference in whether a person feels safe attending a movie theater during a pandemic or not. The question was, currently, how safe do you feel attending a movie inside a cinema? And then we also asked their gender too. And this question is referring to COVID-19 because obviously that's like a big concern in everyone's lives right now, and a lot of businesses are taking safety precautions. So to do this, we coded our answers into numbers. So the answer somewhat uncomfortable was number 1, somewhat comfortable was number 2, extremely uncomfortable was number 3, extremely comfortable was number 4, neither comfortable or uncomfortable was 5, and then for genders, male was 1 and female was 2. And from the regression analysis, we had a p-value of 0.94, which is bigger than 0.05, so we can accept the null hypothesis, which is that male and females feel the same level of safety when visiting a movie theater during a pandemic.
Lastly is our recommendations. For safety, we should all follow COVID-19 protocols and make guests feel safe, as well as workers frequently washing their hands and sanitizing. For the quality, we have found that moviegoers would rather spend more money on the quality of the sound and picture over food and drinks. Lastly, for the rewards, we should implement a rewards program to have discounted movies and food for guests that frequently visit.